Chapter 9, Electronic Commerce, Security and Fraud Protection. The learning objectives are understanding the importance and scope of the security of information systems for electronic commerce, describing the major concepts and terminology of e-commerce security, learning about the major e-commerce security threats, vulnerabilities and risks, understanding phishing and its relationship to financial crimes, describing the information assurance security principles, identifying and assessing major technologies and methods for securing e-commerce communications, describing the major technologies for protection of e-commerce networks, describing various types of controls and special defense mechanisms, describing the role of business continuity and disaster recovery planning, discuss e-commerce security enterprise-wide implementation issues, and finally understanding why it is not possible to stop computer crimes. We start with the importance and scope of e-commerce information security. For e-commerce to succeed, it must be secured. Unfortunately, this is not an easy task due to many unintentional and intentional hazards. Security incidents and breaches interrupt e-commerce transactions and increase the cost of doing business online. Internet design is vulnerable and the temptations to commit computer crime is increasing with the increased applications and volume of electronic commerce. Criminals are expanding operations, creating an underground economy of stolen valuable information. A strategy is needed to handle the costly defense operation, which includes training, education, project management, and ability to enforce security policy. Electronic commerce security will remain an evolving discipline because threats change, e-business needs change, and web-based technologies to provide greater service change. An e-commerce security strategy is needed to optimize electronic commerce security programs for efficiency and effectiveness. There are several reasons why e-commerce security costs and efforts from reacting to crisis and paying for damages are greater than if organizations had an e-commerce security strategy. The internet is still a fundamentally insecure infrastructure. There are many criminals and they are intent on stealing information for identity theft and fraud. Without a strategy, e-commerce security is treated as a project instead of an ongoing, never-ending process. We will next talk about basic electronic commerce security issues and perspectives. The security issue can be viewed as a battleground between attackers and attack and defenders and defense. There are many variations on both sides and many possible collision scenarios. Owners of electronic commerce sites need to be concerned with multiple security issues, authentication, verifying the identity of the participants in a transaction, authorization, ensuring that a person or process has access rights to particular system or data, auditing, being able to determine whether particular actions have been taken and by whom, confidentiality, ensuring that information is not disclosed to unauthorized individuals, systems or processes, integrity, protecting data from being altered or destroyed, availability, ensuring that data and services are available when needed, and non-repudiation, the ability to limit parties from refuting that a legitimate transaction took place. Threats vulnerabilities and attacks. E-commerce sites are exposed to a wide range of attacks. Attacks may be non-technical, in which a perpetrator tricks people into revealing information or performing actions that compromise network security, or they may be technical, whereby software and systems expertise are used to attack the networks, database or programs. DOS attacks bring operations to a halt by sending floods of data to target computers or to as many computers on the internet as possible. Malicious code attacks include viruses, worms, Trojan horses or some combination of these. Over the past couple of years, various trends in malicious codes have emerged, including an increase in the speed and volume of attacks, reduced time between the discovery of a vulnerability and the release of an attack to exploit the vulnerability, the growing use of bots to launch attacks, an increase in attacks on web applications, and a shift to profit-motivated attacks. Our next topic would be phishing, financial crimes, and spam. Phishing attempts to get valuable information from people by masquerading as a trustworthy entity. Personal information is extracted from people and sold to criminals who use it to commit financial crimes such as transferring money to illegal accounts. One method of financial crime is to use email spam in an attempt to influence the recipients. Our next topic would be information assurance. The importance of the information assurance model to e-commerce is that it represents the processes for protecting information by ensuring its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is the assurance of data privacy. Integrity is the assurance that data is accurate or that a message has not been altered. Availability is the assurance that access to data, the website, or other electronic commerce data service is timely, available, reliable, and restricted to authorized users. Our next topic is securing electronic commerce access and communication. In electronic commerce, issues of trust are paramount. Trust starts with the authentication of the parties involved in a transaction, that is, identifying the parties in a transaction along with the actions they can perform. Authentication can be established with something one knows, for example a password, something one has, for example a token, or something one possesses, for example a fingerprint. Biometric systems can confirm a person's identity. Fingerprint scanners, iris scanners, facial recognition and voice recognition are examples of biometric systems. Public Key Infrastructure (PKI), which is the cornerstone of secure e-payments, also can authenticate the parties in a transaction. PKI uses encryption, both private and public, to ensure privacy and integrity, and digital signatures to ensure authenticity and non-repudiation. Digital signatures are themselves authenticated through a system of digital certificates used by certificate authorities. For the average consumer and merchant, PKI is simplified because it is built into web browsers and services. Such tools are secure because security is based on SSL, Secure Socket Layer Communication Standards. Our topic number 7 will be technologies for securing networks. At electronic commerce sites, firewalls, virtual private networks, and IDs have proven extremely useful. A firewall is a combination of hardware and software that isolates a private network from a public network. Firewalls are of two general types: packet filtering routers or application level proxies. A packet filtering router uses a set of rules to determine which communication packets can move from the outside network to the inside network. An application level proxy is a firewall that accepts requests from the outside and repackages a request before sending it to the inside network, thus ensuring the security of the request. Individuals with broadband access need personal firewalls. Virtual private networks or VPNs are used generally to support secure site-to-site transmissions across the internet between B2B partners or communications between a mobile and remote worker and a local area network at a central office. IDs monitor activity across a network or on a host. The systems watch for suspicious activity and take automated actions whenever a security breach or attack occurs. In the same vein, some companies are installing honey nets and honey pots in an effort to gather information on intrusion and to analyze the types and methods of attacks being perpetrated. Our next topic is on the different controls and special defense mechanisms. The major controls are general, including physical, access controls, biometrics, administrative controls, application controls, and internal controls for compliance. In addition, there are controls against fraud and spam. Our topic number 9 is on the role of business continuity and disaster recovery planning. Disaster recovery planning is an integral part of effective internal control and security management. Business continuity planning includes backup sites and a plan for what to do when disaster strikes. Such plans are required by insurance companies and some lenders. It is necessary to conduct drills that will ensure that people know what to do if disaster strikes. Enterprise-wide electronic commerce security. Electronic commerce and network security are inconvenient, expensive, tedious, and never-ending. A defensive, in-depth model that views electronic commerce security as a combination of commitment, people, processes, and technology is essential. An effective program starts with senior management's commitment and budgeting support. This sets the tone that electronic commerce security is important to the organization. Other components are security policies and training. The last stage is the development of hardware and software tools based on the policies and procedures defined by the management team. The last topic from this chapter is why is it impossible to stop computer crimes? Responsibility or blame for cybercrimes can be placed on criminals and victimized industries, users, and organizations. The electronic commerce industry does not want to enforce safeguards that add friction to the profitable wheels of online commerce. Credit card issuers try to avoid sharing leads on criminal activity with each other or law enforcement. Online shoppers fail to take necessary precautions to avoid becoming a victim. Information systems designs and security architectures are still incredibly vulnerable. Organizations fail to exercise due care in business or hiring practices, outsourcing and business partnerships. Every electronic commerce business knows that the threats of bogus credit card purchases, data breaches, phishing, malware and viruses never end, and that these threats must be addressed comprehensively and strategically.